so this video is a bit different. Yeah, a bit different to my last one, but just trying to get them out there. But I won't piss about. Just go straight into it. Doom: The Dark Ages. Come on now. I think if you saw my last video, this video didn't need much explaining. It's more Doom, but I thought, nah, it needs another video, another quick video, because I'm just hyped. I know it was very short, didn't show a lot. I actually was expecting maybe a little bit more. I was hoping a bit more of a, I was hoping a bit more like Perfect Dark was shown, just a bit more gameplay. I would have liked that, but what we got was just enough. You know, we got the music in there, which I'm happy about. Obviously, the whole situation with Mick Gordon, we can talk about that later. But you know, music still being stuck in my head, so I'm still all hyped for that because I was a bit worried about what the music is going to be like, but sounds good to me. But yeah, just go straight into it. Doom: The Dark Ages looks awesome, looks brilliant, looks everything that you want in a Doom game, and it's goddamn has it been long enough. It's been 4 years, I think, since the last Doom, and it will be 5 once this actually releases, because it says it's coming out in 2025. I was hoping, to be honest. I think it was a bit of wishful thinking. I thought it would release at the end of this year. Would have been a good full game to have, but potentially might have got delayed somewhere along the lines, because I would have thought it would have been this year. But still, you know, we're a very stacked year, 2025. I really hope it's early 2025, because if Grand Theft Auto 6 is releasing end of next year, I don't know. It's getting a bit scary for whoever is going to be releasing around that. I feel sorry for all of the devs that are going to release their games around that. But anyway, Doom: The Dark Ages. So we're going back. We're not continuing on from Eternal. We're going back to the Dark Ages. We're going back to the origin, I guess, of how the Doomslayer became that, I think. So I was just reading the premise. It says, Doom: The Dark Ages explores the rise of the series protagonist, the Doomslayer, as he becomes the last hope of a kingdom fighting against the forces of evil. So, to be honest, sounds like bullshit there, but...
An extra million
Right.
by the year end. I will double double your investment in 1 year. What?
Bullshit!
I don't think that's the actual premise, but we're going back. I think it's going to be sort of... I'm not the best with the whole lore. I'm still really interested in it, but I still find it... I think there's a lot more fans, obviously, out there that will be able to tell you where in the timeline this is, but I don't, to be honest, know where it slots in the timeline. But like I say, I'm not massive. I don't play the Doom games really for the story as such, but I am still really interested in, you know, all of what we could see, all the different demons and things like that, and the actual. I'm actually really interested in the surrounding lore itself. So yeah, I'm excited to see. Obviously, in this we got dragons and things like that. We saw those, which was quite cool. In Doom Eternal, there's obviously all those big demons that are, you know, like dead all over the place, basically, with their guts spilling out. And I guess, yeah, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the fight that the Doomslayer, how he basically took those down and things like that. So it's quite cool to be able to see what we've already seen. Obviously, the battlefield, the aftermath in Eternal. So it's going to be cool to see how it all sort of happened. But yeah, it looks, obviously, hype levels through the roof. And one question I do have, though, a big talking point of Eternal and 2016. There is a bit of a mix with the old the tone of Doom. Some people prefer the tone and the style of 2016, and some people prefer Eternal. It's funny, I prefer the gameplay of Eternal, and I just clicked with it a bit more. I don't know if it's just because it's newer, it's updated, it's a bit quicker and things like that. Whereas some people prefer the darker tone of 2016. And obviously Doom Eternal just went full on, like obviously the UI is a lot louder. It just sort of looks more arcadey, and I feel like it's a lot more self-aware. I feel like it's starting to lean, obviously, a bit more into the meme side of the Slayer. That he's basically indestructible at this point. the demons are victims, not enemies at this point. Whereas the first one, the reboot as such, 2016, I feel like it was a lot more grounded, and they did seem a lot scarier. Whereas, and even if you look side to side, some of the differences in like the Cacodemon and from the 2016 to now, it almost does look a little bit more cartoony in Eternal. So I'm quite interested whether they've sort of heard that feedback, and maybe they'll sort of do a bit of both. And wondering if this is going to be a much darker tone that follows more along the lines of 2016, or whether they'll blend it quite. Because to be honest, looking at it, it doesn't look like it's going to have all that loud UI that we had from Eternal. It looks like it probably would fit much better, being a bit cleaner, a bit grounded. So that's going to be quite interesting to see, and I'm excited. Yeah, whatever they do, I'll be happy with, because to be honest, I love them both. So and then next I'll just talk about the weapons that obviously were in the trailer. The shield is a new thing, which I'm very excited about. Anything that adds a shield is just automatically sick. And it's not just any shield, but obviously he's got a shield with a bloody chainsaw on it. So, well, I guess a buzzsaw, which you can throw. And the moment he threw that, I thought, okay, can we call that? Because if so, sick. It's just thinking of all the different ways of, like, obviously when shit really hits the fan in Doom, which obviously later down the line it will. Obviously in the trailer, there wasn't too many enemies going on. Well, we can talk about obviously the enemy count, because there was obviously a lot more, but you know what I mean. With later on in Doom Eternal, you got all different. At the beginning, it's quite, you got all your little minions sort of thing. They definitely the pacing's very good at sort of bringing in new demons, making it a little bit harder as it goes along. And then by the end you've got all these different demons, and you got to use all your different skill sets, all your different abilities and things like that to get around them, and knowing what each enemy's weakness and things like that. So it will be very interesting once this gets going. You've got obviously your shield, which another thing that the shield can do as well. It looks like it's got a counter as well, which I think is going to add to that gameplay so much more. Anything that has a counter, I just think obviously just adding to what is already great, and I think adding a counter is going to be brilliant. One thing that obviously I just said about the glory kills just then, but it's quite interesting, they didn't actually show any. Oh, they only actually, that's a lie. They did show one glory kill. Because funny enough, he's actually got a ball and chain as well, which I didn't actually mention. But yeah, he's got a ball and chain, which I guess, I don't know if that is a melee weapon itself, or whether that is maybe the new. So like in Eternal, he had the knife. Maybe that's the new bit of that, or maybe we just get melee weapons. And they also showed, which looked pretty sick, which is quite interesting. Obviously, this is going back, so some of his weapons won't be as high tech. But yeah, he's got a skull crusher, which is a really cool looking weapon, and it's cool that the fact that it spreads out. So, and obviously this is the first showed how many enemies are actually on screen at once, which I think you find is it's obviously showing its true potential with next gen consoles. Well, they are next gen, aren't they? But really showing that this is because obviously Doom Eternal was on both PS4 and PS5. Well, it was originally on PS4, and then obviously it got an update on the PS5. So yeah, it's obviously they're really utilising the fact that this is going to be a PS5 and Xbox Series X console, and obviously PC. So it looks like they're really upping the enemy count, which will be really cool. Obviously that's going to be a lot harder, I reckon. But it'd be interesting, how many enemies there'll actually be on the screen at once when you get later into the game, because obviously the more the difficulty goes up, the more enemies are going to be thrown at you. So I reckon there's going to be some scenes in this that are going to be like, you're going to have a lot of demons coming at you and the sled. I've actually listened to an interview, one of the directors of the game, and he said the fact that Doom 2016 was more, I can't quote him completely correctly, but Doom 2016 was more run and sort of keep going on the floor, or don't stop moving basically. Doom Eternal was up in the air, sort of staying high, and then this Doom the Dark Ages is stand and fight, which I really like the sound of. So it's more on the ground, sort of. They're coming at you, and you're just taking them down. And it looks as well like the levels seem a bit more open and more flat, which is quite cool. More bigger levels, which obviously from a graphical point of view, that'll be quite a, because Doom's pretty good with its scenic stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting with the level design as well. So yeah, and then obviously part of technically the weapons is the fact that they sort of showed the mechs, which were in Eternal, but obviously you can't get in them. But they showed a little bit of gameplay of the Slayer basically getting in the mech and then fighting these big demons. The one worrying thing I find with this is the gameplay of Slayer is so good, and I always worry when games do this, kind of similar to the old Arkham situation where the just don't change what isn't broken, sort of thing. And I always do worry when things like this happen, where I don't want it to be a situation where it's like, right, it's a mech part of the mission. This doesn't feel as good as the Slayer, and then you just want it to end. I really hope they get the gameplay right, and it just still feels as quick and as well. Obviously, I don't think it'll be as quick because you're in a mech. But if maybe they do it like sort of tight, if they get it similar to Titanfall, where it still feels really good. Because like I say, Arkham, obviously it's not totally the same, but the fighting style of Batman throughout that game is just amazing. I just didn't want to be doing the tank missions. I know they tried their best to sort of keep it. It was still sort of fun with the obviously staying out of the sight of the lasers when they turn red, and it was still quite quick, but I just wanted them over. I just wanted to go back to just being Batman, and just because that gameplay loop I can never get sick of, and it's the same as Doom. I just can't get sick of the gameplay, and obviously throughout I want to just do that throughout the story, and it's kind of similar to the bit in Eternal. I know it was a bit more of like a tease for it's just sort of a tutorial in a way for the multiplayer, but there was a bit where you could play as the Revenant, and I think it was just more of a tutorial, obviously, for the multiplayer. But that bit again, it was fine, but it's not as good as being as a Slayer. So it's just I don't need it. So yeah, I'm a bit skeptical on these bits, but from the look of it does look like it's still going to be quite cool. I reckon it's going to be a case of hand to hand with it, and then to continue on to that, it's then obviously we got dragons as well, which is cool because obviously this is all medieval and back in the Dark Ages. So, and everyone loves dragons, so you can't lose with dragons. Again, another bit though, it's also third person, so kind of similar to the Dark Knight. If they nail the gameplay of this, fine. But if they don't, it's just again going to be another bit in maybe the story where I'm like, I just want to go back to just being the Slayer and just get my gun. I want my shotgun back and all that. So I'm a bit worried about those two bits, but I've got faith. I've got faith that id can do it, because they've done it with the last two. So yeah, I just hope that it's not a case of it was great, but I don't like these bits, because then again I think I've replayed Eternal probably like 4 times through the story, and because it's just that seamless fun gameplay loop, I'm happy to do that. Whereas if these sections are going to be a bit like a bit of a slog, you sort of start questioning whether you want to sort of do those bits. But like I say, I don't want to moan too much, but and yeah, like I say, I have complete faith that they will make these fun. So yeah. But yeah, in terms of anything else, I just, like I say, not a massively long video. It's just my hype level is massive for this game. I just wanted to make a quick video about this because I'm just hyped to get back to a game like this. I'm one of these people where I'm just craving now, just shorter. Well, not shorter because I don't know how long this will be. I'm a bit worried that it could be. I don't think it will be open world. I hope it isn't. There's too many of them. Semi-open world I'll be happy with, but it's still very much linear campaign, which is what we want. But I'm definitely in the boat now of just all single player games. Funny enough I say that, but Elden Ring was probably, I haven't completely finished it. I bloody will. I need to play Shadow of the Erd Tree, but I still need to beat Moog, is it? So yeah, got to do that. But massive game, haven't completed it, but still, yeah, love that game so much. It was my game of the year that year. So yeah, just craving these games where I can just, play it at the weekend, story driven, just have a good time. And yeah, these bigger games are a little bit more difficult to sort of, because they go on for so long, there's so much to do in them. And again, like the gameplay loop of this, just so addicting. It's so fun and quick, and I just get it. Some games I do feel like I said, I do find Elden Ring and things like that difficult, but obviously there's a lot more to those games. Whereas this is just sort of learn how it plays, and you've got it. And I just love these sort of things. So yeah, I probably waffled on for quite a bit. I hope my gameplay in the background wasn't too much of a shambles to watch. But yeah, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm gonna hopefully be churning out a few more videos of just waffling. Hopefully they get better, the quality gets better later down the line. But yeah, thanks for listening and watching, if you have. And yeah, take care. Have a good one.